Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've got everything set up on the overlay. If I have done anything incorrect, I expect you bros in chat to let me know, but same goes for video or audio. I'm flying solo today again, QQ. However, you guys in chat will be my semi-co-caster, so let me know if anything is going wrong, if there's any sound or video issues. But that aside, good morning, one and all. We find ourselves in yet another Acer Team Story Cup match. This is, of course, Empire-Ence, the alliance between those two teams versus Axiom Esports, and spawning down here in the lower left corner of Star Station, it is, in fact, Axiom's heart. And I wish he was red right now. His opponent in the upper right, though, stealing that red color, representing Empire-Ence. It is going to be Elfi, the red Protoss. But if you guys didn't see my DreamHack introduction for Heart, pretty much the best introduction of all time, if I do say so myself. But I don't actually know which version of Star Station this is, as there is a version of Star Station that still allows anywhere spawns. I have noticed that it's not Star Station TE, which is really important, because if you guys have seen previous Acer Team Story Cup casts, there's an issue with that version of the map. People have declared that it basically stands for Troll Edition or Terran Edition, because it's one of those maps that are just not a regular map. But I'm assuming this is probably the latter version, so if it is, likely cross spawns, which means Elfi and Heart, of course, know where each other are. Now, TVP is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fickle. If you guys actually stuck around for after the Acer Team Story Cup yesterday, you got to see this unknown Protoss player named Raytor take on Pulse in a best of 3 with some of the just most fantastic gameplay I've ever seen. And Elfi's a really good player, and he's known. I expect nothing less of him when it comes to dealing with Heart today. But you can never count Heart out. He's a really good player overall. I think I'm most impressed by his TVZ, of course, but I sadly could say I have not seen the most of his TVP, so really excited to see how this goes today. And people were asking earlier, and it turns out, I guess, someone in chat informed us that you can't actually use, or rather, Axiom can't use Impact, their most recent Zerg pickup, until week 6, and this is week 5. So as far as I'm aware, we're only going to have Terrans and Protoss coming out of Axiom today. Let's see if that works for or against them, because, I mean, Empire-Ence has got a good Terran lineup. They got Braddock, they got Cast, they got Happy. You know, if it comes down to TVTs, then it comes down to TVTs, but scouts the base. The advantage of the SCV instead of getting a Reaper out. Star Station is a really nice map for Reapers, though. If there was one map I would expect to see Reapers on, honestly, it's Star Station, but because he went for that quick command center, we see no gas on the field, not an issue. Because as we see, the SCV does the same thing that the Reaper would do, and he just gets a nice scout off of the base. Now, when you get in early like this as a Terran player, what you're looking for is primarily gases. You want to see if there's one gas or two. If there's 2 gases, chances are they're going to go for an expansion, because you take that second gas before the Cyber Core goes down, and you put 2 and 2 on each. It'd be nice if Heart gets back in there and scouts the natural actually being thrown down, so he doesn't have fear of like a 4-gate. However, Elfi should be able to kill this SCV quite readily. Although, maybe not, I guess. Gonna just let it slip on in. So, okay, confirming the naturals there. Gonna feel a little bit happy about that, I guess. Twilight Council following suit. Blink, most likely.
First blood.
Sorry, I had to make sure I got that off. Did such a bad job of that yesterday. But anyways, Blink. A giant possibility and a huge effective strategy to go for on a map like Star Station. Just like Reapers are effective at getting into a base, so are Stalkers. They get in from almost literally, like, I'd say a good 2/3 of the base. Only those parts in space Stalkers can't blink into. So Supply Depot is going to come down up here just to scout as well. This is really important, actually, that Heart gets this down. If he puts it too close to the ramp, the Stalkers snipe it off before it's even a problem. If he's got it on top of the ramp, the Stalkers will blink up and then he'll see it. And of course, responding to that is never fun, but you have to at least know it's coming. And as a Terran player, typically you're not going to have like a bunch of map presence. You're not going to have a ton of observers. And I want to just point out, actually, I didn't catch the build location of the Twilight Council until just now. Pretty cool spot. It's over here primarily to hide it from scans. It also does the same job I was just talking about. If drops are going to come in, it'll see this coming from far away. But of course, it does make it a little more vulnerable. It's easy for a Terran player to drop up here, and all the Zults will have to choke and funnel, and it's not a lot of fun to connect with. But that's still quite some time off. But there's that blink, nearing completion, about halfway done. Elfi with, I'd say, 4 gates, 5 gates on the field right now, so gearing up to We're going to put on a bit of the pain. Lots of barracks under production here for Hart. He's definitely going to need... He's going to need all the Marines he can, but sadly, with the delayed factory, it means a delayed medevac, which means holding a push like this, it's going to be very difficult. I believe in Hart. He can certainly do it, but it's not going to be easy, and oh no. Hart's going to go for a bit of a poke himself. He'll catch some of these stalkers in the middle of the field. But of course, as he walks away from everything... Okay, that was a small mistake by Elfi. I think if Elfi had kept himself hidden, Hart would have walked his entire army away and would have had absolutely nothing at home to defend. Now he knows what's up. Now he smells what's coming. And... a time warp on the ramp. Gonna make it really hard to get reinforcements to the top. SCV's being pulled. I like that there's only a couple, not all of them. This just to soak some damage for the Marines and for the Marauders. But Elfi with some great control gonna blink on down to the low ground. Still in range, of course, of the bio, but... snipes off a couple workers there. 5 SCVs killed. Not going to be the easiest thing to hold. We already have workers preemptively pulled to deal with the repairs. Does have to be careful with the high ground. Stalkers as well. Like, okay, as nice as a position as this is for Elfi to keep getting it from any location he wants, he does have to be careful. Marauders are out. Marauders crush Stalkers, boys and girls, and so do Marines. Well, I guess I shouldn't say Marines don't crush Stalkers, but they deal with them quite handily. And I like that he's keeping the SCVs pulled here. If he wasn't, this could be very problematic. And getting this mothership core is the biggest priority right now, of course, because if he gets rid of this, there's no more high ground vision, and Elfi's very limited in where he can go. But that stim did hurt that army, and medevacs are just now coming out, so still not available. But some great repairs going off on this bunker, going to keep it alive yet longer. And Elfi saying, alright, screw it, I can't kill the bunker, I'll go for the SCVs. A really smart choice, but of course, I think coming around here, hitting from a different angle, even just sending 4 stalkers in so you can start one-shotting the SCVs and harassing the mineral line. I mean, whatever you need to do. Actually, I don't think they 4-shot, or I think you need 5 versus Terran, right? Yeah, you need 5 versus Terran in 1 shot, 4 versus other races. Anyways, point is, continue to attack the front like this will not work for Elfi, especially with medevacs now available on the field. His blink control is immaculate. We see him very much so minimizing losses. Resources lost actually very low. Only 2 units have died so far, but yeah, just not able to crush Hart. Luckily, though, it's not like this was a 1 base all in off 5 gates. This is 2 bases. He's macroing behind this. Robo Bay on the way, which means Colossus will be out in due time. Yeah, there we go. Hart is going to push. This is kind of his time to do so, and I think he recognized that. So, what you can assess as a Terran player from seeing what Hart has seen, just by having blink stalkers in your base, you know that's where a lot of the gas went early, especially towards the Twilight Council, which means your opponent didn't have time to rush out Colossus, they don't have Storm Tech on the field. This push with the bio will only be held off by a combination of great micro from Elfi as well as the Photon Overcharge. First Colossus is coming on the field, but guys, it's not going to have Thermal Lance. Without extended Thermal Lance, the Marauders can stim into it. It's only like range 6. Look at the range of the Marauders. What do you know? Sorry, that's 6 in case you guys weren't looking. I was trying to be sarcastic. I don't know why I would cast sarcastically. I probably shouldn't do that. At any rate, we do have the Marauders going to push on first and focusing down the Nexus. Kind of a cool move, but is there a sentry? There is a sentry, so Force Field will go off on the ramp, but of course if he Force Fields the ramp, he abandons the natural, and oh my god, just heckin' chaos currently going on here. Colossus does pop out, and I think Hart really wanted to snipe off that Nexus, but gonna be denied for the time being. Almost gets the Mothership Core too, which would have been really nice. Of course, shutting that thing down is always a good thing. There's never a downside to killing a Mothership Core, but alright, one Marine gonna go off to the side for the time being. Observer! Gonna try and scout the army. And again, this isn't something I knew until recently, because I've never had high-def StarCraft 2 before, but units that are translucent don't just cast a shadow, they cast like a colored shadow. Okay, well, I was trying to show you with the Observer, but he's being a scumbag right now. Hiding his shadow within space. But okay, Vikings now coming out on the field. Hart's, of course, going to need a couple more if he really wants to be too effective, but looks like he's happy to go with just 2, and I guess with 2 Colossus on the field, Thermal Lance is just finishing up, and yeah, the timing window's not here. If he goes in, he's going to be in for some trouble, and I like that he scanned first, because he didn't know precisely what was going to be available, and the last thing you want to do is stim 2 groups of bio into extended Thermal Lance Colossus. I am being corrected by chat, Lucos. You're correct. You don't technically one-shot the SCV, you one-volley the SCV. Does that sound a bit better? My mistake. At any rate, Hart, he's got a lot of protection up. Is there Ghost Academy Day? No Ghost Academy yet, so just going to be focusing on the 3rd for the time being, but a little bit dicey in the middle of the map. He is a little bit behind on upgrades. Elfi staggered his double forges for quite some time, so would have expected Hart to already have at least 1-1 over his opponent, but I guess Chrono Boost is a hell of a drug. It's going to be 1-1 on these Stalkers marching up towards these Marines. A couple of them being left behind to die, sadly. I kind of feel like Elfi could have stomped on a dime, just a good couple Stalkers there. Yeah, just like he did, but perhaps a little bit earlier before the Colossus were in range. But a nice spread. He wants to make sure he doesn't come in clumped up. There are pretty good ways to deal with these Colossi if you come in spread out, but the Stalkers are going to have to worry about the Vikings, and if they're worried about the Vikings, the Marauders will do a ton of damage. Here comes the small SCV pull. This is a rather significant thing to do, as it will absorb quite a few hits here. The Colossus are going down quite fast to these Vikings. The last Colossus is going to go down, and Hart's going to have to land these Vikings if he really wants to take this fight. It's going to be close, but the bio is actually no blink micro going on. Elfi a little bit delayed with that. The bio is looking pretty weak, though. Most of these medevacs are pretty dry, guys, and more SCVs being pulled. Hart, why you no land Vikings? I mean, he's got them in the air. He's waiting for more Colossus to come across the field, but that's not going to be the case. It's just the Stalkers on the ground, and these Marauders are going to do what they can against this army. There we go. Vikings finally being landed. Last few Stalkers are going to go down, but this is a bit close, guys. This is less of a battle and more of a trade, I have to say. Not something you see too often, but okay, churning around on a dime once again. We'll pick up a couple Stalkers. That concussive shell, so good. Even if you got blink, if it's on cooldown, you're basically going to die. And we see a lot of teasing out of both these players, both churning around, hitting, and I guess those last couple hits off. Resources lost. I want to say it's going to be even, but of course Hart was down before. Let's see what happens. Bam! So when you consider the fact that Hart was actually behind in resources lost before, he's actually doing pretty good after the outcome of that battle. Not only that, but he picks off the slow tech units like Colossus. I mean, on one hand, it's cool to kill a Colossus. Wait, why is that force fielded? I guess one Marine? Okay, whatever. Anyways, getting back to on point, Colossus are expensive, yes, and you kill them, it's always nice, but they take so long to reinforce. Look at that, like instantly, like 6 Zealots, not a problem, but the Colossus will take a good minute and a half to get out of there, so yeah, pretty good. I like this drop, by the way. This is a really Marauder-heavy drop coming out of Hart. This is going to allow him to snipe off pylons significantly quicker. If you drop Marines, yes, they've got high DPS, but Marauders, they pack a punch, and these pylons, if he depowers these gateways, the push from Elfi will pretty much be shut down. If you can't reinforce as a Protoss player, if you can't warp in like 12 units instantaneously, you're not going to continue applying pressure. And right now, our Terran player is up an entire base, and he's got to keep pressing that advantage. Probes being pulled though, or transferred, I don't know which. Gets a little paranoid. There we go, pylons being picked up. Stalker's going to go down here as well. A little bit, yeah, tenacious out of Heart. Kind of wanted to engage the Colossus, I think, but realized that there's just too much ground support for it, so it does back off a tad bit. I just want to point out how many workers killed. Yeah, so, keep in mind, guys, Elfi's not really gotten into the mineral lines. Both times he's killed workers were times when Hart had to pull them in order to survive. But coming across the field with his army, and the big thing is that one Marine sees this, which is going to allow Hart to move in with these Marauders and either try and draw his opponent back or possibly cause way too much damage behind enemy lines. But here we go, that preemptive SCV pull. I can't say this is going to go well for Elfi, be careful. Or not Elfi, sorry, Hart, be careful as SCVs go down for nothing. Oh, Vikings are being a little bit tenacious. They do fly forward, and these Stalkers picked him off immediately. He needs these alive for the Colossus, moving them in like this and not even getting a Colossus kill. Bit of a waste of almost 6 Vikings. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, nothing at home to defend. Elfi is now forced to go full. He's got to go big or he's got to go home. This army has got to win the game for him because he's not going to be making more behind this. The Marauders on the other side of the field are a little bit too strong. More Colossus or Vikings are going to pop out, which will drive these Colossus back. Stalkers are about to fall, and I believe Hart has just crushed Elfi. Good game is called, and this will set Axiom up 1-0 against Empire-Ence.